Your colleague just sent you their work and it's not good enough to submit. You have two choices: say nothing and let a bad piece of work go out with your name on it too, or say something and risk making things awkward for the next 3 months. Most non native professionals choose silence, not because they don't care, but because nobody ever taught them how to say the hard thing kindly. By the end of this video, you'll have 5 phrases to give honest, few specific feedback in Kyo without damaging the relationship. Let's get into it. Alex has reviewed a report written by colleague Jordan. The data is incomplete and the conclusions don't follow from the evidence. Alex needs to give feedback. Hey Jordan, I had a look at the report. It's quite good. There are maybe some areas that could potentially be developed a bit further, but overall, I think it's mostly fine. Good job. Jordan says thank you and submits the report unchanged. The problems remain. The manager notices. And Jordan, who never got real feedback, doesn't understand what went wrong. Same report, same problems. This time, Alex decides to be direct. Jordan, this report isn't ready, the data is incomplete, and the conclusions don't make sense. You need to redo the whole data section before we can submit this.
Wow, that was harsh. I worked on this for 2 days.
Jordan revises the report, but the relationship is damaged. For the next 2 weeks, Jordan avoids Alex, stops asking for input, stops collaborating. Alex got the outcome, but lost the colleague. Two approaches, both wrong. Too soft, the feedback doesn't land. The problem doesn't get fixed. Too hard, the feedback lands, but so does the damage. The goal isn't to choose between honest and kind. The goal is to learn how to be both at the same time. That's what we're going to practice today. Effective feedback has 3 parts. Acknowledge what's working specifically. Give honest, actionable feedback. Express confidence that it can be fixed. Let's see what that looks like. Same report, same problems. This time, Alex uses the formula. Hey Jordan, I went through your report. I can see you put a lot of work into the structure and the executive summary is really clear. I do want to flag something before we submit. The data section is missing a few key figures, and right now the conclusions are getting ahead of what the data actually supports. I think if we tighten that up, this will be a really strong piece. Would you have time to revisit the data section today? I'm happy to look at it together if that would help.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't sure about that section either. Can we sit down at 2?
Jordan didn't feel attacked. Jordan felt respected and motivated to fix it. That's the difference. Let's break down the 5 phrases Alex used. Phrase 1. I can see you put a lot of work into the structure and the executive summary is really clear. This is the specific acknowledgement. Notice it's specific, not generic. It's quite good overall. Vague. Signals a but is coming. Everyone sees through it. The executive summary is really clear. Specific. Signals you actually read it. Specific acknowledgement builds trust. Generic praise destroys it. Phrase 2. I do want to flag something before we submit. The phrase I do want to flag something signals. What's coming is important, but I'm on your side. Before we submit frames the feedback as a shared problem, not a personal criticism. You're not saying your work is wrong. You're saying we have something to fix together before this goes out. That's the difference between feedback that builds trust and feedback that creates distance. Phrase 3. The data section is missing a few key figures, and right now the conclusions are getting ahead of what the data actually supports. Two things to notice. First, describe the problem, not the person. You didn't include enough data. Attacks the person. The data section is missing a few key figures. Describes the issue. Second, use right now. Right now implies this is fixable. It's not a permanent judgment. It's the current state which can change. Phrase 4. I think if we tighten that up, this will be a really strong piece. This is the confidence close. Don't end on the problem, end on the possibility. If we tighten that up, you're in it together. This will be a really strong piece. Genuine confidence in the outcome. Phrase 5. I'm happy to look at it together if that would help. This is the offer to collaborate. You're not just pointing out the problem and walking away, you're offering to help solve it. This is what separates feedback that builds relationships from feedback that damages them. 3 situations. Use the 5 phrases. Situation 1. A colleague's presentation is too long and unfocused. Client meeting is tomorrow. Don't say, this is way too long. You need to cut at least half of it. Try this. I can see you've put a lot into this. There's some really solid content. I want to flag something before tomorrow. I think the presentation might be covering too much for one meeting. The client will likely lose focus around slide 10. Would it help to work through which slides are essential? I think we could make this really punchy with a few cuts. Situation 2. A colleague's email to a client was too casual. Don't say, your email to the client was too casual. You need to be more professional. Try this. Hey, quick thing on the email to client. I think the tone might have been slightly more casual than they're used to from us. That client tends to appreciate a slightly more formal register. Would it be okay if I sent you a quick example of the tone we usually use with them? Situation 3. A junior colleague keeps missing small details, third time now. Don't say, you keep making the same mistakes, you need to be more careful. Try this. Hey, I wanted to flag something. I've noticed a few detail errors in the recent work. I don't want to make a big deal of it, but I thought it was worth mentioning so we can catch these early. Would it help to do a quick review together before things go out? Notice the pattern. Acknowledge specifically, not generically. Describe the problem, not the person. Use right now or before we submit me, make it fixable. End with confidence and an offer to help. Here are the 5 phrases from today. I can see specific strength. Acknowledge specifically. I do want to flag something before we submit. Signal feedback is coming. Right now, specific issue. Describe the problem, not the person. If we fix it, this will be strong outcome. Close with confidence. I'm happy to look at it together if that would help. Offer to collaborate. Honest, specific, kind. That's the formula. Here's the key takeaway from today. Giving feedback isn't about being brave enough to say hard things. It's about being skilled enough to say them in a way that actually helps. This week, before you give feedback to anyone, ask yourself, am I describing the problem or am I describing the person? If it's the person, rewrite it. If it's the problem, you're ready. Have you ever received feedback that really helped or feedback that really hurt? Tell me in the comments. Giving good feedback is one of the rarest skills in any workplace. If you can do it, people will trust you with things that matter. Next week, how to disagree with your manager in English without it becoming a conflict. See you then.